Hi, hello, and welcome to a bonus episode of the Whips and Whimsy podcast. My name is Zenith. My pronouns are they, them. I am happy that you are choosing to spend some time with me today. Today is Sunday, August 31st, and this, as I said, is a bonus content video where we're going to go through all of the books that I read in the month of August. I finished 10 books, which is kind of a lot for me, but I've realized recently I can listen to audiobooks at work, like basically through my entire shift. And so I've gotten through so many things and I wanted to come on here and talk about them. So I want to keep this as kind of a shorter video. So it's not going to be super talkative. I'm not going to go through the full description of every book. I'm going to give you the title, the author, my star rating out of 5, where I got my book from, because I think that's an interesting thing for booktubers to talk about, like where they sourced their book from. And I'm also going to give basically like a 1-sentence review. I'm not going to keep it exactly to 1 sentence. It might be 2 or 3, but I'm going to try to just, here's my basic reaction to it and go from there. And then if you are interested in reading more about the book or reading it for yourself, you can look it up. You're already on the internet, so you can do that. Today I also, for hydration, have a nutty pumpkin latte that is mostly ice at this point from Dunks. Stay hydrated. And with that, let's jump into it. So the first book I read was Master of Gin by P. Djeli Clark. I got this book. I own 2 physical copies of this book. And I started reading it physically and then realized that was not the energy. So I downloaded the audiobook from Libby, and that is how I read almost all of the book. I gave it 2 stars. It has great world building. The characters are lackluster. And that's really unfortunate because P. Djeli Clark is usually an auto read author for me. And this one was a no. The next book I read was Girl Dinner by Olivia Blake. I gave that one 5 stars. This was an arc I got from NetGalley because I review books. This is sorority Stepford wives with cannibalisms with some literary fiction satire thrown in. Could not put it down, was thinking about it even when I wasn't reading it. The next book I read was Disney Adults by A.J. Wolf. I gave this 5 stars. I bought this book on release day from Libro FM. I read this because I love listening to A.J. Wolf talk on the Disney Food Blog YouTube videos. And listening to her talk all day, 5 stars. 5 stars. Just get the audiobook and listen to her talk. 10 out of 10. The next book I read was Icing on the Murder by Valerie Burns. I received this as a NetGalley. It's an early review copy. It comes out, I think, in October. I gave this one 5 stars. It's so silly and ridiculous, but it will also remind you that the military-industrial complex is a cult. So there's that. The next book I read was Much Ado About Nada by Uzma Jalaluddin. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. I got this as an audiobook from Libby, and I gave it 5 stars. This book it's a love story, but it feels like a love story to the Muslim community in Toronto. Incredible. The next book I read was Mrs. Claus and the Very Vicious Valentine by Liz Ireland. I gave that one 5 stars as well. I got this from NetGalley. It is an early copy. This book comes out in October, I believe. And this one, first of all, my favorite book of the month. Second of all, it's Mrs. Claus in the North Pole solving elvish murder mysteries. like murders are happening and she's like, I'm gonna solve this. I'm Mrs. Claus and that's my qualification. Incredible. The next book I read was The Art of Mindful Living by Thich Nhat Hanh. I gave that one 5 stars. This was an audiobook I downloaded from Hoopla. This book had me meditating while I was walking around work, which was just super wild. The next book I read was Murder at Pirates Cove by Josh Lanyon. I also downloaded this as an audiobook from Hoopla. I gave this 5 stars. Finally, a queer cozy mystery. This book was so good. I went onto Hoopla because it's the end of the month and all my borrows are about to expire, and I downloaded the next 7 books in the series. I don't know how far I will get on them, but that's going to be my September plans, is just binge reading the entire series. Sorry if my camera moves. I have notes and they're like propped against my tripod. That's also why I keep looking down. The next book I finished was A Legend in the Baking by Jamie Wesley. I gave it 5 stars. This book I actually got a physical copy of from my library, which is very rare, as you can tell by all of the other books. I don't read physically. I don't usually read when I'm at home, and it took me basically all month to read it just for that reason, and it was worth it. Jamie has just cemented herself as an auto-read author for me. This book was so silly, so ridiculous, and I just loved it so much. And the last book I read for August was Get What You Want by Julie Solomon. This is a book I actually received as a Libro FM ALC back when I worked in bookselling a couple years ago. And it's just been waiting for me to get to it, and I needed something to read, so I downloaded it. It's basically Therapy 101 disguised as a career guide, but it did inspire me to hire a career coach. So there's that. And that's all I have for reading for the month. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed this little quick rapid fire book review, something a little bit different for me for the channel. I am planning to do these just once a month, just doing a wrap up of everything that I have finished. I can give you a sneak peek of some books that I am still currently reading. I'm not going to tell you anything about them. I'm just going to throw some titles at you. I'm still currently reading The Phantom Menace by Terry Brooks, which is the novelization of Star Wars Episode 1. This is pre the Disney purchase, so this book came out like well before the Disney purchase. And it is possibly the first Legends book I have read as an adult, so that's exciting. I'm also currently reading an arc from NetGalley called Witch and Tell. I started that yesterday. It's so good. I'm reading... Oh God, I did not write down the title, but there's another book that I'm reading, and the book is upstairs. It's a library book, so it's going to take me forever to get through. And I can't remember the title of it, but it has to do with a girl and her estranged husband, or a woman and her estranged husband rather, riding through a hurricane together in Texas and then falling back in love. I think it's like life disaster or something. It definitely has the word life and disaster in the title somewhere. I don't remember the full thing. I will maybe put it on the screen. And yeah, I think that's all I'm reading right now. I have not started the second book in Josh Lanyon's Cozy Mystery series, but I do have it downloaded and ready for me to go when I go back to work on Tuesday. So yeah, that is what I have been up to reading wise. Leave a comment, let me know what you are reading and if you would recommend it. And I will talk to you next time. Bye.